Hello, my name is Adrian Adrianna. I'm actually one of the midwives that works here out of IWS Family Health Clinic. And I just wanted to take a moment to talk to you about one of the services that we offer here at the clinic, and it's family planning, birth control. And so I just wanted to start just by sharing with you guys the different kinds of methods that we have available and how it may work. But eventually, we would love for you to come and make an appointment so that we can go into depth with whatever method you might be considering to use or have used in the past and would like to change it. So first, I wanted to start off by saying that in order for a woman to get pregnant, two things are happening. One is that the ovaries are maturing a little ovum, and then they release it every month, while the uterus is preparing its tissue, or the endometrial tissue, so that if this little egg is fertilized, it lands in the uterus and it starts to embed and implant itself for pregnancy, right? So in order for that to happen, we need to ovulate and the uterus needs to prepare itself. When we do conceive, what happens is actually after intercourse, the sperm of the male has to travel from the vagina up into the uterus, down the fallopian tube to try to find that little ovum to try to fertilize it. So when we actually conceive, it's somewhere here by our fallopian tube. And then once we conceive, that little ovum travels down to the uterus and then starts to embed and becomes a pregnancy. So most of the methods that we are going to mention today have to interfere with this cycle, right? Either you don't ovulate, so it kind of shuts down your ovaries because we're like, don't ovulate, we don't want you to be pregnant. Or it causes a lot of irritation and aggravation for the sperm, or making it difficult to reach this ovum. So those are the two ways that we can prevent it. Some of the methods that we have here, obviously the very, very oldest method is the condom. And I love this because not only does it prevent pregnancy, but it also prevents transmission from sexually transmitted infections like chlamydia and gonorrhea. So that's the best thing. It's a barrier method. So it prevents pregnancy and STIs, or sexually transmitted infections. All these other methods help to prevent pregnancy, but they don't really prevent against any sexually transmitted infection. One of the older methods that we have is also the birth control pills, which are great. And most are hormonal because they tell our body to do something or not to do something. So the only thing with the pill, they've been well studied. Not everybody can take. We have different kinds. We have one that has combined hormones. We have one that only has one hormone, all depending on your medical condition. Or if you have any contraindications, that's what we would consider upon your visit. The other thing is that for the birth control pills, you have to take one pill every day around a similar time. So if you're good with taking pills daily, this would be a great method. Not only does it help to regulate your period, but you do see periods with this at the end of the last placebo week, right? So if you're good with pills every day, go ahead and try these. If you're not, you might want to try another method that is a little bit longer acting. So we have what is called the depot, or the shot. And the shot is every 3 months. The only thing with that is that you do have to come into the clinic every 3 months. And it has to be, there's a calendar that is set up. So on the 12th week or in the 3rd month, you have to come within that little window of opening to receive your next shot, or else the efficacy starts to diminish and then you expose yourself at a risk of becoming pregnant. Some people hate injections. Some people don't want to be coming back every 3 months. So there's other longer methods. We also have a similar method to the birth control pills, which is called the patch. And the patch literally is just that. It's a patch, and it looks like a little nicotine patch. Each system comes with 3 patches, so you change it every week. So you have one for 1 week, the 2nd week you put the other one, the 3rd week the other one. On the 4th week is patch-free, and that's when you also have your period. Longer methods, more than 3 months, is we have the implant, or Nexplanon. And basically what it is then it's just like a little flexible rubber, almost kind of toothpick. And it's about 1 inch long too. And it's placed easily, very superficially under just your fatty tissue, like in the arm. And it's not a procedure. We don't cut you open. It's just like, it's almost like starting an IV, and it goes straight in here, stays there, and you can even palpate it just to make sure it's there. You don't have to come back for a special review and see if it's still in its place. And to remove it, it's also fairly simple. And we also do it here in the clinic. The other, and this is good for up to 5 years. It used to be for 3 years, but now it's up to 5. The other thing that we have that is also longer acting is we have the IUDs, which is called the intrauterine device. And basically, what it does is it sits here in the uterus. It's a little T. So the uterus literally looks like a kiwi, or the size of a kiwi, and it's a muscle. So what we do is we place it here in the clinic, and it actually goes inside the uterus, take it out, and it just stays there. These strings are inside the vagina. They don't come out like a tampon or anything like that, but they're there for you to be able to kind of check and make sure that the IUD is in its place. It's very, very flexible. So when we say the copper IUD, it doesn't mean that it's a piece of metal or a piece of copper. Basically what it is just a little copper spring that goes around this. And the way that this works is it just causes like an irritating environment for the in the uterus for the sperm to be able to travel up and meet that ovum. This is good for up to 12 years. We have the Marina or the Skylight. There's different ones. And this one does have a hormone, but the important thing is that they're both placed the same way and they're both removed the same way. The biggest difference is the efficacy. Like I said, this is 12 years, and this is good for up to 8 years now. And it's also a very flexible plastic. This one does have a little tube here that contains a hormone similar to the shot, similar to the implant. And it helps to prevent ovulation, and it helps to prevent like sperm traveling up. So what I wanted to say is, I'm losing track there, but yeah, they're both placed the same way and they're both removed the same way. And just because it's good for up to 12 years or up to 8 years, that doesn't mean that you have to use it for that period of time. If you decide that in 3 or 4 years you want to have another baby, you just make an appointment at the clinic and come and we take it out, and fertility should return back. So now that we're talking about that, the biggest side effects, obviously condoms don't have any side effects. You do get purity with the pills and with the patch, but the biggest side effect with these other methods is that the biggest thing, it causes menstrual irregularity. So some women, after they start one of these methods, they can start to have vaginal spotting. Sometimes it can last days, sometimes it can last weeks, sometimes it's unpredictable. It can be a week long, a couple of days it stops, and then all of a sudden, so it's not going to be a regular menses every month that you're used to. Some women even don't have periods, and that's not a bad thing. One of the biggest questions that I get is, oh my gosh, what's happening to all that? Is it staying inside? And it's not. It's just simply that you are not going through that menstrual cycle, so that tissue is never really preparing. And when it starts to prepare, the hormone is like, there's not going to be a pregnancy here. And eventually, it just kind of makes the uterus dormant. Okay? So that's how it works. So not having a period is not a bad thing, especially if you know that it's because of your birth control method. So these are all reversible. Just quickly, we also have permanent, which is the female sterilization and the vasectomy for the men. We don't offer the services here in the clinic, but we can definitely get you set up with one of the doctors because it is a surgery. And we do have the resources here to refer you to and make sure that if that's something that you wanted to do, then we can provide those services also for you. So I think that's it for me right now. Any questions? No. I think, so please come, please make an appointment. We would love to see you and spend more quality time one-on-one and just answer any other questions that I might not be addressing right now. But we definitely would love to have you in control of your own family planning, how many children and when you want to have them, and just empower you to do that. Thank you so much. And if you have any questions, please give us a call, 773-782-2800. Give us a call and we hope to see you here soon. Thank you.